Alright, so we're finally here at functions. Let's get started. First thing first, what are functions? Well, let me give you a quick example of how functions would work. Let's say you were writing a Python script, okay? And what I want you to do is, I wanted you to print hi 5 times. So one way to do this would be for I in range 0,5, my bad, print hi, right? And all this would do is it would print out hi 5 times. Now I wanted to print out hi 5 times in the beginning of my code, twice in the middle, and once at the bottom. Now this would be a tedious process. I'd have to use these statements multiple times. Is there an easier way to do this? Yes, there is. This is where functions come in. What are functions? Functions are chunks of code that tell Python to do something. They basically reuse the code you have written. For example, I could create a function which has this in it, and then I can call that function wherever I want in my whole script to perform printing hi 5 times. So how do you create a function? Well, a function consists of 3 parts. A name, a parameter, and a body. So let me quickly show you how to create a very simple function. Any function you create has to start out with def. And def basically stands for define, or just creating a simple function. After that, you have to type in your function name. As you can see, my function name has been highlighted in blue. That's supposed to happen. So def function name. After that, what you specify is the parameter. So name, parameter, body. Right now we're on the second option, parameter. So the way you can specify parameters is via the normal round brackets, and in here you can write any parameters that you want. For example, let's say, or actually for this purpose, let's not do anything right now, def function name parameters. Alright, once you've specified the parameters you want, and for example if you didn't have any parameters, all you had to do was just leave this empty and then put a colon. So this is the initialization of a function. Now after this, you write the code. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to command C this, my for statement, command C and command V. For I in range 0,5, print hi. That's our simple basic function. So now what I can do is anywhere in my code, if I call function name, I get hi. Now is the bracket necessary? Yes, it is. The brackets specify if there are any parameters or not. And it's always good to put the brackets because you have to. So this is a very simple function that you can create in Python. Now let's go ahead and add some parameters. For example, let's say I was creating a very simple calculator. I wanted to take in 2 parameters, first number and second number, and then I wanted to print out the sum of both those numbers. So let's go ahead and do that. Def add num, that's my function name. What are my parameters? First num and second num, okay? And then all I have to do is say return. Now the return key, all it does is it basically prints out whatever you want. So returning a statement just gives it back to you, it prints it out to the console. So I can say return first num plus second num, and I can do this in brackets, I can do whatever I want, but this works. So def add num, first and second are our parameters, and then all we're doing is returning the sum. So hit enter, that works. Let's go ahead and try it out. Excuse me. Add num, and I'm going to try it out with 2 simple numbers, 45 and 3. When you know the sum is 48, we get 48. So functions will simplify your life totally. I love functions. I love the whole capability that what you can do is, instead of having to repeatedly use code in your Python scripts in any language you're writing, you can create a function to do that for you. And as you can see, calling a function is a very simple task. All you do is type in the function name and then the parameters. So awesome job, guys. In this lecture, all we did is I gave you a brief introduction to how functions work. Now in the next lecture, we'll talk more about functions and what you can do with them. See you then.